Regarding marriage, many humans have been told that God's desire is for marriage to be an everlasting union between a man and a woman, for better or for worse, for the purpose of propagating the species and maintaining a civil society organized into family units which supports God's agenda for humanity. One result of this teaching, in most religious cultures, ending a marriage for whatever reason, including mental or physical cruelty, is deeply discouraged, and one major religion tells its followers that they may never divorce, may never remarry in the church, nor receive the church sacraments if they do divorce, and may never marry another person who has been divorced. In many places and cultures, marriage rules are established by religion, then become civil law, limiting and constricting the behavior of marriage partners, and those limits remain in place for life. Chief among those limits was what humans call fidelity. Human beings living in marriage must maintain faithful to each other. That is, they may not have sexual experiences with anyone else for the rest of their lives, not as a matter of personal devotion or sacred agreement, but as a matter of civil law. This should not be surprising since, as has just been noted, prohibitions against many kinds of private sexual activity has been placed in the common culture by religions. According to the accounts of God's desire, human beings may not have sex with anyone outside of marriage, with anyone prior to marriage, and therefore should they never marry at no time during their entire lives. Let me read that again. According to the accounts of God's desire, human beings may not have sex with anyone outside of marriage, with anyone prior to marriage, and, therefore, should they never marry, at no time during their entire lives. This is the expectation, and humans are told that the breaking of this taboo can lead to severe punishment from God and from the social environment. As a result, marriage is entered into by many young people around the world who are neither ready for such a commitment nor sufficiently mature for the responsibilities attached to it, but who are unwilling to endure any longer the prohibition against the sexual experience. The idea of male supremacy, drawn from the concept of God as male, has a major effect on many religious scenarios. In some cultures, marriage is considered a form of ownership and servitude, with the woman being the owned object, actually paid for with a dowry, and the male being the person served. Even in cultures with less extreme views, a wife is expected to be obedient to her husband and to be subservient to him in every way. The man is the head of the household. That is, many peoples believe, God's desire. Regarding sex and sexuality, many humans have been told that God's desire is for sexual union to be experienced only with one spouse for the purposes of procreation and the expression of love. One result of this teaching, millions of people believe that sex may absolutely never be experienced in any way that deliberately prevents conception, and that while sex is wonderful, to experience sex simply for pleasure with no possibility of procreation is against the will of God, and therefore unnatural, immoral, shameful, and giving in to baser instincts. As with the combining of fear and love in the earlier understanding of God, the combining of pleasure and shame in this construction has produced chronic emotional confusion, wonder, excitement, and passion, yet embarrassment, fear, and guilt about sexual desires and experiences. In most cultures, the sexual parts of human bodies may not be referred to by name. The words vagina and penis are not to be used in public, except as absolutely necessary in a purely clinical setting, and never with small children. The words wee-wee, pee-pee, or bottom may be used freely. In short, the human culture agrees that the actual names of certain body parts are shameful and embarrassing and are to be avoided whenever possible. Again, you may believe that the above assertion is a bit of an exaggeration. I assure you it is not. Internationally known columnist Molly Ivins reported in the September-October 2004 issue of Mother Jones magazine that Advocates for Youth, a group working for comprehensive sex education, had its funding for AIDS prevention yanked by the Center of Disease Control, a U.S. government agency, because young people in the project's video used the correct terminology for male and female anatomy. That, said James Wagner, a head of Advocates for Youth, is absurd. What is the president going to do? Issue an executive order that every man, woman, and child should refer to the penis as a ding-a-ling? And of course, if one cannot speak of certain body parts, one certainly cannot show them, not even apparently to oneself. Yet another exaggeration? I'm sorry to say no. So puritanical is the viewpoint on all of this in many places that the following letter could actually appear without anyone blinking an eye in over 300 newspapers in the United States on September 25th, 2004 in an advice column. Dear Abby, I went to wake up my 14-year-old daughter today and discovered her sleeping in the nude. Apparently she has been doing it for some time. Normally, she is good about getting up, and I haven't needed to enter her room to awaken her. When I asked her why she does it, she said it's more comfortable and she sleeps better. When I told her I was not comfortable with it, she asked me why, and frankly, I could not come up with a good reason other than it seemed wrong and fear about what would happen in an earthquake or a fire. She questioned how it could be wrong if no one knows, unless they walk into a room without knocking, as I did. She keeps a long robe next to the bed so she can put it on in case of emergency. Indeed, she walks around the house in that robe, and I thought she had a nightgown underneath, when in fact she has been naked underneath since Christmas. I'm still not comfortable with it, but we agreed to abide by your advice. Is it okay for her to sleep in the nude? And why, or why not, worried mom in San Leandro? The columnist wrote back that there was nothing inherently wrong with sleeping in the nude. Look at the bright side, she advised the mother. It makes for less laundry. As this parent's letter makes clear, many humans feel that certain body parts must be covered and hidden, having been deemed too arousing or too shameful, or both. For those parts not to be covered is incorrect and unacceptable. Indeed, in many places it is actually illegal, with punishments in civil law for those who fail to obey. Many people believe that sex experienced in certain ways, even between husband and wife, is unnatural and therefore immoral. And again, in many times and places, some experiences, although between consenting adults, have actually been made illegal. Those who wrote such legislation said that they understand that God does not want certain sexual experiences to occur. God sends people to hell for this. Humans also believe that intensely graphic depictions of sexual activity in photographs, drawings, comic books, video games, television, and motion pictures are distasteful, repugnant, disgusting, and unacceptable. Intensely graphic depictions of extreme physical violence and killing are, however, entirely acceptable. Millions of humans believe that sexual energy and spiritual energy do not mix. They have been told that sexual energy is a lower chakra energy, and that sexual activity and spiritual clarity essentially oppose each other. Persons seeking to achieve spiritual mastery are therefore advised against engaging in sexual experiences. Some are actually required to remain abstinent. That is, many of the world's people believe, God's desire.